guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I have a very interesting topic video. It's probably gonna go a little over because it's my pull list. Explaining why these comics are on my pull list, and what's on my pull list. How many Marvel, how many DC, how many Indie. So the person who recommended this was JF Comic Freak, so if you want to go check out their channel, be in the description below, their channel link. And if you guys have any recommendations for future topic videos, just tell me in the comments below, and if I answer them in a couple of weeks, it'll either be on Dark Avenger Inc. or Comic Uno, because I double dose my topic videos. Usually for Comic Uno, I have them every Thursday with my comic book reviews, and for Dark Avenger Inc., I have them every Sunday. But let's get through all these comics. It took me a while to do this, but I'll try to go as quick as possible. So I'm going to start with Indies, then Marvel, then DC. There's no particular order besides that order. There's not like, oh, here's my favorite Indie. It's pretty much Indie, Marvel, then DC. So let's start with Indie. I'll explain very shortly why I have these comics on my pull list. Kick-Ass 3. I love the movie. I love the movie. I didn't read Kick-Ass when it came out, but I didn't love Kick-Ass 2. I'm really looking forward to Kick-Ass 2, the movie, though. I think this is the one circumstance, or one of the least circumstances, where the movie is better than the comic book. But I'm looking forward to Kick-Ass 3 and see where it goes. I'm really looking forward to Kick-Ass 2, the movie. But it's only been one issue. It's always delayed, though. That's the one bad thing about having this on your pull list. It's always delayed. So also this videos show, you know, maybe you want to have some of these comics on your pull list, you know. Some other ones actually I read digitally, so technically it's on my pull list, but because I do get technically sponsored by some indie companies and we get free comic books, I'm going to say it's on my pull list anyways. That's just recently this week, Lazarus, which is pretty good. I have a review about that. So I'll explain my thoughts of why I like that. But it's pretty good. I think it has a lot of potential. So that's one that's so far on my pull list. And Jupiter Legacy. I don't know how long that's going to be on my pull list for. But it's interesting. It's interesting-ish. So it's Mark Millar. Hit and miss. I mean, same thing as Kick-Ass, but he's a good writer. So that's another one that's on my pull list. But I read digitally because of because of the indie companies that I do read digitally because I'm a reviewer. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. I get to read those digitally. But some of the big indie books that I really love, I like having in my collection, and like Morning Glories. That is a book I have in my collection. I do buy every week or every month, and it's a great series. It's a great mystery series, my favorite indie book. And if you haven't been reading from the beginning, I actually suggest to read this in trade. I can't wait until a trade, but it's such a great book. This is a great thing to have on my pull list. I love it, and it's a great mystery series, so definitely go read that. Love it. Definitely my favorite indie. This I'm going to count as indie, but The Wake, issue 1, or The Wake, which actually issue 2 came out this week. The Wake is a cool horror stuff. It's from Vertigo, so technically it's connected to DC, but technically Kick-Ass 3 is connected to Marvel. But I count it as indie. It's cool, you know. I don't know how long this will last on my pull list also. It's one of those series that could definitely be pulled off if something wrong happens. But so far I'm enjoying it. I want to see where it goes, and it's Scott Snyder. So it's a really good mystery horror book. So I've been enjoying it, but it could be off my pull list if it doesn't go a little quicker. Another one, this is an on and off series on my pull list, but I do enjoy it, and I read the first couple of trades. That's how I got into Invincible. I didn't read it from the beginning, but Invincible. I read it through trade for a while. I read like first 5 trades and then got into it. And I haven't read every issue, but I read a lot of issues for Invincible. And it's one of those series I do get on and off to. And I started reading again with issue 100. And this is another series that I really like getting in my collection, so I don't read digitally. So it's really good. I love Invincible. I love the universe it creates. And Robert Kirkman, of course, he's a great writer. And the art is really great for this series also. So it's one of those superhero indie books. It's amazing. It's if you like superhero stuff, but you don't want to read Marvel and DC, it's a really good series. And it's one of those things you could jump on and off to. But so far, I've been on with this series. It's been really good since issue 100. Last indie book is Mara. It's actually a mini-series, but it was so good that I had to collect it through paper and not digitally. It's one of those miniseries. Usually miniseries I collect digitally, or read digitally. But with Mara, it's just a really special series and really great. I really hope this ends up being a regular series. And you can see I usually read a lot of Image, but Image is one of those best indie companies in my opinion, and they have such great stories. And Mara, I really hope it continues with the ongoing, because it's really great. I think it's only one more issue left though. So, great. Brian Wood does an amazing job. So, if you haven't been reading Mara, it's one of those pleasant surprises. So, let's get to Marvel. But I had to take a sip of water because I've been talking for hours. So, now let's get to Marvel. And again, this is not in any particular order. But, first is Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a series that I'm starting to get into. I've never read Guardians of the Galaxies before this, and before Marvel Now, which I think a lot of people are on the same boat with me on this series, because not a lot of people read Guardians of the Galaxy beforehand. But, this is a series that could go off my pull list. I'm still not attached to the characters. I have to think about it, because there's a lot on my pull list that some I do want to take off, some I want to keep. So, and then there's miniseries that are ending, like Mara, so it might clean up my pull list a little. But Guardians of the Galaxy I'm thinking about, you know, but I did pick up this week's issue. I didn't review it, but I did pick it up. And I want to see how Angela does. That's coming issue 5. So there's some good stuff coming here, but it's one of those series I don't know about. Wolverine X-Men. Great series. It's one of those really fun series that I enjoy from Marvel. It's one of those series that also go up and down. It's definitely going to be on my pull list for a while. This has been on my pull list since issue 1, so it's been on my pull list for a while. But Wolverine X-Men, it's a fun series, but again, it's up and down. Some story arcs really are not good, like the Carnival story arc. But then there's story arcs that are really fun and really good, like Hellfire Saga, you know? And even the first couple issues were really good. But the one thing about this series, the art is not that great. You're never going to get good art. I think once or twice out of 31 issues, you got good art, but it's better than Bradshaw. No, Bradshaw does this. Bocello's art. I did not like his art for the beginning. I like Bocello a little bit better for this. But the art, not always great, but the story really makes up for it. It's been on my pull list for a while. Another one, Ultimate Comics X-Men. I do get a lot of Ultimate Comics stuff. I've been collecting Ultimate Comics for a while now, so Ultimate Comics X-Men is one that you have to continue from, so don't just put this on your pull list when a story arc starts, because it's something that you really have to be reading since issue 1. Even if you read Ultimate Comics Spider-Man and connected to, throughout Kitty Pryde's stories, you could really get the full story for it, and especially with Fallout is a lot of story with Ultimate Comics. Ultimate Comics anything, it's kind of hard to get into, but Ultimate Comics X-Men, it's a good series. It's always solid, you know, and Brian Wood also writes this. He's a really good writer, especially for female characters. I think he does a really good job for Kitty Pryde Ultimate Universe. So I enjoy it. It's a cool series. Again, it's one harder series to get into, though, if you just to jump in. But it's always solid. It's never better. It's never worse. It's always going to be on my pull list. It seems like if Kitty Pryde is the leader, it's always going to be on my pull list. Alright, next is All New X-Men. Amazing. This is one of my favorite Marvel Now series going on right now. And I always say if you're not reading any X-Men series, this is the one you really just have to pick. It's every X-Men title in one title. It's every X-Men team in one title. It's so amazing, and Bendis is doing a great job with X-Men in my opinion. I never hated Bendis. I always liked his writing, so even Avengers I kind of liked his writing. Maybe I was the only one, but he's really proving himself with All New X-Men, and again, one of my favorite Marvel series right now, so if you're not picking this up, pick it up. I think this is going to be on my pull list for a very long time. X-Men, I like the premise of this. I like having all girl team and having that for the X-Men. I think it's the first time they ever done this, and Kitty Pryde's my favorite character, so I always try to, well, my second favorite character, because Spider-Girl's my favorite character, but we never see her. But Kitty Pryde's my favorite current character that we usually see. But yeah, Kitty Pryde, I've liked Kitty Pryde for years and years. I've been reading Kitty Pryde comics for a while, so X-Men's one of those titles that I definitely have to pick up. It's okay to this current story arc. I'll see where it goes. I might have to drop it. I'll see. We'll see, because Kitty's in a lot of comics. So we'll see. It's an okay series right now. I like the first issue a lot, but it's one of those series that could definitely be dropped if the story arc doesn't improve. Scarlet Spider, I've been reading since issue 1 also. It's a very good series. I love Kane. I've loved Kane since Spider-Girl, honestly. He's very different from Spider-Man. You're getting a very different Spider-Man story, but you get to see some of that responsibility kicking in a little. So it's really interesting, and the supporting cast is amazing in this series. So, if you haven't been reading Scarlet Spider, there are some up and down issues here, and him complaining a little, but it's still a really solid series. So, I see this being on my pull list for a while. Young Avengers, yeah. I love Young Avengers. Not the series, the team. So, I don't know what to think about this. I'll see where this where the series goes, but I can't let it go. It's one of those series I can't let go just because I love Young Avengers, but I really hope it improves. That way people actually can pick it up and show why I actually like Young Avengers. And finally, when they get their solo series, the art's not that great and the story is not that great. But we'll see where this series goes. I'm going to have it on my pull list for a little while. Hawkeye. Love this series. So good. It's one of my favorites from my Marvel pull list. It's so good, this series. If you're not reading it, it's simple. You could jump on at any issue. It's really easy to jump on to. It's so simple, and I love the characters. I love Clint. Kate's one of my favorite characters also. Kate actually liked before Clint. But read this. It's not the Hawkeye from the movies. It's not actually the Hawkeye we've been seeing. It's just a mix of really... I guess he's a little bit of a douchebag, but he's still very understandable in this series. So I really love it. I love it. It's so simple. Matt Fraction is sometimes a hit and miss, but with Hawkeye, he's been hitting it out of the park. Next is FF. I think I'm going to be keeping this for a while. I actually just recently dropped Fantastic Four with the last issue, so I do want to keep FF for a little while. I've been entertained with it. I actually like the art. Some people don't. Allred is definitely a person that you might like or you just don't, you know. So for me, I like his art. I think it fits FF, and I like the story, and we'll see where it goes once Fantastic Four comes back. But I see this being on my pull list for a while, even though it's not that popular with the views. It doesn't seem like a lot of you guys watch it, but I still like FF. It's one of those series I definitely will be reading for a little while. Next is another dark horse type of character, which when I say dark horse, no one seems to understand what that means. I actually say that to a lot of times. They're like, "What does dark horse mean?" It's one of those things that you didn't expect to be good, and I love dark horse type of things. So Nova is a dark horse type of series, and I didn't really expect much from it. I was going to read issue 1. I'm like, I don't really love space stuff, especially the Marvel Universe. I didn't really like their cosmic stuff. In DC, it's fine, but in Marvel, I don't love their cosmic stuff. But I love this main character. It's such a dark horse series that you should really be picking up this series. Nova is great if you're not reading it. Next is something I can't let go, even though I don't love the series, which is Superior Spider-Man. I love the supporting cast too much not to pick this up. I don't love Superior at all, but I do love the supporting cast, so I do pick up Superior. It seems like you guys enjoy the reviews too, so we'll see where it goes. I really hope Peter comes soon. I'm not one of those people that complain to have something different. I love stuff that are different, but I still haven't seen the attraction to Superior Spider-Man yet, but I really hope that we get to see more of the supporting cast. So we'll see how long this stays on my pull list, but I think it'll stay a while, unless the secondary characters change, which I hope they don't. But I see it staying for a while just because I'm such a big Spider-Man fan. And next, another amazing series, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man. Love this series. Miles is finally coming into his own, and this will probably never go off my pull list, but Miles is coming to his own. It's what we've been waiting for. The first year of Ultimate Comics Spider-Man was always like kind of lackluster or just solid, but now like it's always getting 5 stars. It's always amazing every issue, and just the way Miles is written and all these supporting characters. Again, to see since even though Peter is dead, we get to see the other supporting characters like Gwen and Mary Jane, and we see that world is still living. So yeah, love this series, especially this year. It just blew my mind. It's such a good series. Another, I think, dark horse type of series that a lot of people don't expect to be good. Alright, next is DC. Got a lot of DC here. Just this year, I would say DC has been my favorite company. Marvel hasn't been the greatest this year, but I've always been a Marvel fan. I was such a big Marvel fan. I still like Marvel, of course. I wouldn't be picking anything up from Marvel if I didn't like it. But I think DC, this has been their year for good series. So let's look at the pull list for DC. Batman Superman issue 1. I just put this on my pull list and we'll see how long it lasts. But with the first issue, I think it'll definitely last for a little while. We'll see. The art's not the best and it's kind of distracting. But I think the story's good enough. We'll see where it goes. It's just the first issue, but I just added this on my pull list. We'll see where it goes. Justice League, really impressible. It really impressed me. The first couple issues, the first year of Justice League I didn't really like. I really was just picking up the series for Shazam. wasn't impressing me. But this current year, and these current story arcs, it's been really impressing me, especially going into the Trinity War. I've been really loving Justice League, and this recent issue, Justice League, was amazing. But that was because of Shazam. But I've been really liking Justice League. I love what Jeff Johns is doing. I think maybe because he did like a Green Lantern to concentrate more on Justice League, and maybe that's a good thing for Justice League. But I've been really enjoying Justice League. It's at least this year. The first year, you could probably see my first issue of Justice League, and my second issue, I wasn't impressed by it, but I'm really impressed for this year of Justice League. Next is JLA. Not as good as Justice League, but still really cool team. I mean, I think once they let go of Argus, and once Trinity War keeps going on, I think this could be a really good series, especially the roster. I think the roster is really impressible. Why do I keep saying that? I guess it's a word, right? But yeah, so I think it's really... it impressed me. It really did, JLA. And for the roster, it's really a really good roster, and really different roster. Yeah, so... I like it. We'll see where it goes after Trinity War. I've been liking JLA. It's one of those middle series, though. Like, I don't love it, but there's some issues that are really good. It's only the beginning of the series, really. Nightwing. That's an on and off series. Definitely would never drop it, because this is what made me really like Nightwing. I never really read Nightwing beforehand, but I really like this series. I really do. Especially the first year is actually better than the second year. I'm not loving his Chicago story arc, but still really like Nightwing. And I think Kyle Higgins definitely has a plan for him. I hope he gets out of his rut of like looking into the past and we get newer stories. But I'm still impressed with the series. Definitely impressed enough to keep picking it up, and definitely impressed enough to keep picking up. But there's definitely some bad things about this from the series, but it's still pretty good. It's Dick Grayson. It's a pretty good series. I still think if you pick up Nightwing at all, pick up the first trade. I think that was better. The first half of the series has been better than the second half in this year. Okay, next is a series I don't know how long I'm going to be keeping because James Robinson is leaving. Earth 2. It's one of those series that's always been in the middle for me. I always want to see what happens next, but it doesn't impress me that much. It's not an amazing series, but with Tom Taylor coming on, I'm really excited because I really like his Injustice run, which is another one I don't know if I have in here, but I'll mark it up if I don't. But yeah, I really like his Injustice series, so I'm excited to see what he does with Earth 2. So it should be on my pull list for a while, but if Tom Taylor doesn't do a good job, I might be dropping that series. Green Arrow, it's one of the recent titles I put on my pull list, and I love Green Arrow. I love the character. He's one of my favorite superheroes, so seeing Green Arrow actually have a good series for New 52 is actually nice. I haven't been loving it because I think one thing I love about Green Arrow was the Green Arrow family. We don't really get to see Black Canary, we don't get to see Roy that much, so that's kind of something I don't love about this series. But I think Jeff Lemire is just trying to get out of that rut that Green Arrow was in, so yeah, I like it. I don't love it as much as other people do, but I see a great future for this, and I see it being on my pull list for, we'll see how long. I don't know. I like it, but I don't love it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Action Comics, this is a series that's been going on and off. I didn't like Grant Morrison's run. I liked his first couple issues, was so impressed by it. I'm like, I love Action Comics. It was one of my favorite series for the first half of New 52, but then it just went into weird places like Grant Morrison loves doing. And then he went off the series, and then everyone was jumping ship off this series, so it's really a lot of different stories going on that's not, well, we have a new, I think Greg Pak actually is doing it, which I'll see what he does, but a lot of new creative teams, a lot of different stories going on that's messing up with the series and not having a straightforward story. So we'll see where Action Comics goes, but it's one of those messed up series because of all the editorial stuff going on with it. Green Lantern, Jeff Johns just left. We'll see where, what's his name, Vendetti takes this. I liked his first issue, honestly. I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't know if it'll be better than Jeff Johns, but I really love Jeff Johns' run, and I want to see what a new person will do with it. And I don't think Johns will leave his favorite character in bad hands. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm definitely not dropping this anytime soon unless it really screws itself up. But I love Jeff Johns' run, and we'll see where Vendetti goes with this. But I'll see this in my pull list for a little while. For a long time, I'm sorry. Injustice Gods Among Us. I really like this series, I do. I like what Tom Taylor's doing with it, but it's also one of those series that I don't know how long I want to keep it for. I think he does a great job with these characters, but the game's out, so I don't think this should be out anymore. I thought it was going to be a 6-issue miniseries, but I see it going for longer, so I don't know how long I'm going to keep this for. Even though I love the characters, it's still based on the game, and the game's out. I can play the game, you know? I don't have to read this. We'll see. It's one of those series that's hard to let go because the story is good. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick with that one. Next is Green Team. I see myself reading this series for a little while. It's not the best, but it's one of those series that I see potential in. So it's better than the movement. The movement after issue 2 I dropped off my book list. But I like it. It's not the best series, but again, it's one of those series in the middle that I see myself keeping them for a little while and seeing where it goes. So Green Team, very good. Not very good, but you know what I just said. So next is Flash issue 20. I love Flash. Honestly, it's one of those dark horse things for DC. It's a lot of people don't pick it up, but it's a great series. I love what Francis Madapole is doing with it. I love the art for the series. I don't see myself dropping this series anytime soon if Francis Madapole is on it. Again, art is amazing. Francis Madapole is my favorite artist, and the story is just great. It makes you fall in love with Barry Allen, so pick that up if you're not reading it. Batman, of course, probably the biggest series, one of the biggest series for DC. Scott Snyder is doing an amazing job with Batman, and I'm excited to see what he does with Zero Year. I don't see myself dropping this series anytime soon. It's Batman, it's Scott Snyder. Enough said. I see myself picking up this series for a while. I need to take a sip of water. Hold on. Okay. Next is Batgirl. Really love this series. I know I might be one of the only ones that love this series, but I've been a Barbara Gordon fan since I was little, so I really like Barbara Gordon's character. I think Gail Simone's one of the only people that could write Barbara Gordon's character perfectly. So I've been loving where the series has been going, and even though not every issue is perfect, I still love the story for this series. And I think Gail Simone is doing a great job. Hopefully she doesn't leave it anytime soon. I don't see her leaving anytime soon. So Gail Simone, great for Batgirl. It's one of my favorite series. Even though, again, I don't see a lot of people saying that, but for me, I really like it. And I think it does the character justice. Next is Superman Unchained. I didn't love the first issue, but I see this going great places, and it's one of the better Superman titles. Superman has been lackluster for DC, so Scott Snyder and Jim Lee could definitely take that out of the rut and have their biggest character finally have a big series. So Superman Unchained, I'm excited to see where it goes. It's Jim Lee, Scott Snyder, and this will be on my pull list for a little while, and we'll see where it goes. You know, definitely will be on my pull list longer than Action Comics probably. Next one is Smallville, issue 14. I love Smallville. It's one of my favorite TV shows, and I think this does a really good, it does the show justice, and really continues from where it left off. It's kind of easy to bring Smallville into a comic book since it is based on Superman, and I think it does a really good job with it, and it has a really good story, and I still think about how Miss Martian's now in Smallville, and the way they did it was perfect. Brian K. Miller is a great writer. If you haven't read his Stephanie Brown series, one of my favorite series of all time, he's great with Smallville. I wouldn't want to see anyone else write it. He does a great job with this series, and I'm glad it's digital, because that's why it's still going on. And I buy the printed. I think it's better to buy printed, but it's pretty cool. Superboy is recent series I put on my pull list. I didn't really like Superboy when I first started reading it, but now it's actually getting really good. Even though it's Liddell, no, actually it's Justin Jordan did this issue, but I think Liddell usually does this series. But I've been liking it. There's some cool story here. I think it's one of those. It's not one of those series that I love, but I could definitely get into it. I'll see how long it'll be on my pull list, but I want to see where this series goes. So Superboy is on my pull list for a little while. Vibe, another dark horse type of series. I really like it. I think Vibe is so interesting. It's a series I did not want to give a try, but because my friend Mark and Mike Spider Slayer, Quorum TV, both really liked it, and I was like, alright, let me give it a try, whatever, you know, if they liked it, I'm sure it could be okay, and it could be good, because they both have good taste in comic books, and it ended up being really good, and it's a dark horse type of title, and I really do like it, and I love Vibe's character and what Jeff Johns has done with Vibe, and I'm excited to see where this goes. I really hope this doesn't get canceled, because it seems like a series that could get canceled. Guys, read this. It's good. Don't let it get canceled. It's really good though. It's simple, but it's a really good story if you want to get someone else on your pull list. Next is something recent I put on my pull list is the Batman and Bat Family put here, you know, it's Batman and Robin. But I like it. It's I'm not loving that Bruce is whining all the time, but it's kind of cool to see him team up with different Bat Family people. I don't know how long that's going to last, but I also like the Carrie Kelly story, even though I didn't really care about Carrie Kelly at all beforehand. But I do like the Carrie Kelly story, and it's cool. It's a good series. I see myself keeping it for a little while. Last series is Green Lantern New Guardians issue. Well, who cares about the issue? Yeah, it's a really good series. I like Green Lantern. Especially with the new team. I don't know where it's going, but I like the art better in it. And I actually like Kyle. This is really the first time I ever really read Kyle's stories. I was always more of a Hal Jordan fan, but I think he's really cool as a White Lantern. So it's one of those series I definitely am enjoying. It's not one of those top series, but it's in the middle, and I don't see myself dropping it anytime soon. Unless, again, I don't know what the new creators are really thinking about it. So in total, I have 37 comics on my pull list. It's a lot. But that also includes some of the digital stuff. 7 indie books, 19 DC, and 12 Marvel. So I do have more DC than Marvel. That's probably a question you guys were asking. And yeah, but tell me in the comments below, even though this is a longer video, how to be a longer video with all the comics. I had to explain why I have on my pull list. But tell me in the comments below, what comics do you have on your pull list? What are you planning on maybe dropping? What are you planning on adding? And if you're planning on adding any comic books because of this video. Yep, there'll be another topic video next week, and also on Dark Avenger Inc. on Sunday. Hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno, and guys, don't forget to follow me on Twitter for Comic Uno in the right situations. See you guys later.